Earth as a singular planet. In fact, it is anything but. For this is a story not of a universe, but a multiverse, where universes and planets, such as Earth, were replicated and mirrored across a vibrating, infinite plane. Some barely different from the next. Others drastically so.
This is DC On Screen. Every week, Dave and Jason talk about the multiverse of DC properties on film and television. But be warned, if it's been officially released, you can expect they'll spoil it.
As you please.
Good. Oh.
Don't get too fancy.
Welcome.
Maybe not everything, you please.
Oh. Welcome into DC On Screen, episode 455. I'm your host, David C. Robertson. This is my co-host, Jason Goss.
Hello.
Alright, so before we start off on this episode, which is particularly light on news...
Christmas!
Christmas! But we do have a correction to report. Sadly, my fiancée Bethany informed me that last week, when I was torturing Jason with earworm theme songs, I inadvertently claimed Love Is All Around, the Mary Tyler Moore theme, was the Laverne and Shirley theme. And as soon as she said it, I heard the real Laverne and Shirley theme in my head. You know, we're going to make our dreams come true. So I felt great shame. Thankfully, she has decided to go through with the marriage.
That's very big of her.
Yeah,
wasn't the
I'm honestly
tagline
pretty
on,
embarrassed.
Yeah, well, wasn't the tagline on Mary Tyler Moore like, we're gonna make it after all?
No, you're going to make it after all.
Or you're gonna make it after all. Okay.
Yeah. And Laverne and Shirley was, we're going to make our dreams come true, doing it our way. Yeah.
I've got to admit, I'm willing to forgive you. Those are very similar.
They're not. I'm just really bad at singing it.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's fine.
But seriously, old TV is my jam, and I really botched the knob on that one.
I understand. And I have sympathy for you, but I don't think it's you're going to be the first against the wall when the revolution comes kind of offense.
Well,
at least second against the wall.
Yeah,
I don't know what revolution would
man.
possibly revolve around, classic television music. But
are you on social media these days?
Okay, that's fine. I mean, if you're suggesting that any version of fandom could become violent, then fair enough.
The second we hit upload, there were several message boards and Reddit subreddits that marked me as not a true fan of insert here.
Not a true Laverne and Shirley. Mary Tyler Moore.
Right.
Classic TV in general we can extrapolate from his faux pas. You know what? We're pretty sure this guy just hates life. I doubt his eyes even work. I heard he had one ear, and that it doesn't work well.
He hates women because he mixed up the two shows that had women in it, and also he hates Lou Grant, so he doesn't like fat people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes. It's rough out there. It can be rough out there.
But Ed Asner killed it. Killed it on Lou Grant and killed it in
all
Studio
three iterations
60.
that I can find.
And damn it, he was a great granny goodness. I don't care what you say, Jason.
Screw that character, but whatever. It's as well as it can be done.
Yeah. Anyway, if you have thoughts on my classic television theme song faux pas, you can call us, leave us a voicemail, 205-259-6331. And, you might get played. Probably get played.
Probably.
All right. We're gonna jump ahead.
Conscience is clear?
Sure.
I mean sure, you still feel bad, but
I'll beat myself up for years to come.
But you've talked about it at least. It's the first step in recovery. You talked about it. I'm proud of you, Dave.
Yeah.
I want you to know I'm proud of you.
I know you are, buddy. I know you are.
For reasons I don't understand.
That's probably fair.
Well, now that we've been sentimental, let's do some real things.
Well, if you guys want to watch the first 3 minutes of Justice League, they're available online over Daily Motion. So that's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So last week we talked about Fabian Wagner said that they shot a scene with the Superman black suit, and now fans have started a petition to get the black suit scene put into the movie. Not the extended cut or anything, just the black suit scene. And pretty much in response, Fabian Wagner came out and said, to be totally honest, I just can't remember if we were shooting it as a test or if we were actually shooting it as a full scene with the suit. I definitely shot it, but I just can't remember if it was more of a test or a full scene. But definitely seeing the black costume was great, so I'm not 100% sure whether that would have been in the movie anyhow.
Let's just further muddy the waters.
Yeah. And, to be fair, that could have been WB getting after him,
Sure.
And being like, well, I don't know. Maybe I didn't. Okay, buddy. I do love that it's another fan petition popped up over this thing.
I feel like
you fans.
I feel like you have a theme in mind for this episode, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe I'll call the episode No More Fan Petitions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Over to Wonder Woman, Patty Jenkins. The fans started a petition for Patty Jenkins to get a nomination for her direction of Wonder Woman for the Golden Globes.
Like, I feel bad laughing at that one because it's like the one I think makes it's at least supportive.
No,
not at the Golden Globe, but at least it's like, we like this thing. Why isn't it getting more applause instead of everything you do is terrible and we hate you? Why do you have control of the properties? I don't understand.
Yeah. Oh, I think the real the secret theme of the episode are fans are entitled assholes.
Yeah.
I mean,
but it's been like a series of episodes for us where we've been talking about this. And
kind of.
Yeah, I don't even want to go so far as entitled assholes, but I guess it's technically true. We are. We've all been guilty of it at times. But right now we're in this extremely divisive era where, I sent you links from TV. I know this isn't the last petition you're about to mention. So,
I know.
We're only halfway through those, I think. Like, it's just, no, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work.
Yeah. I
feel like I'm going to save my feelings until the last. I'll save my feelings on the petitions until you get through all the petition material.
Oh yeah, you know what? I forgot to mention for Justice League. The big petition for Zack Snyder, the Zack Snyder cut, quote unquote. Mm-hmm. It got hacked and deleted.
Yep. Well, it got hacked, and here's what I read. It got hacked, and then somebody was told, like, I forget the phrasing, but like somehow it was implied, like, we did it. And that wasn't true, and then the person who started it was just like, screw it, I'm going to have to delete this.
Yeah, I mean...
It didn't work.
Something like that.
It didn't work. It didn't work at all. And we've already talked about how that one was never going to work.
I remembered it, so I didn't even... Yeah.
Yeah. It's not... No.
Over to Aquaman.
Uh-huh.
Apparently there's some rumors that there are going to be 3 different villains in this thing. James Wan says, "This is what I'll say. I don't have 3 villains. I think that's ridiculous. I would never go into an origin movie with 3 villains. We don't even know the main character, let alone the world and its antagonist. I believe in taking baby steps. I want to introduce Arthur Curry in a much more emotional and powerful way and introduce Mara, played by Amber Heard, and of course there's Nicole Kidman and Tamira Morrison playing his parents. We know Black Manta is in there, but I will say this. Patrick Wilson is the main antagonist in this film. I wouldn't necessarily say villain, but he's the antagonist."
He makes it sound like they're going to have a disagreement.
The way he's... Like,
everyone there is going to think they're on, the side of the angels, so to speak.
When I read that, though, I thought, it's going to be Thor.
You're thinking...
First thing that popped into my mind.
You think you're going to learn about a magical kingdom of subplots and characters that you won't ultimately care about.
I wouldn't have put it that way, but okay.
Does that sound accurate, or...
I don't want it to.
You brought up Thor. I'm just trying to distill what you said.
Okay, the magical kingdom part, yes.
Sure. I believe we have to. We have to go with that part. Yeah.
He brought up the parents. That just sounds like Odin and his wife. I can't remember her name.
God rest her soul.
Sure. God rest both their souls.
Or
should I say God's?
Yeah, God's rest. God's rest her soul.
And their soul.
Uh-huh. Yeah, true.
Souls, yeah. Mm-hmm. Spoilers for Ragnarok. then it says, we know Black Manta's in there, but Patrick Wilson, his brother, is the main antagonist in the film. Loki, anyone? And then I wouldn't say villain, but he's the antagonist. That sounds very Loki-ish to me. Maybe I'm just seeing something different.
They've also talked about how there's going to be like some internal struggle for Aquaman in this thing about like what man's doing and what is good for his ocean when it comes down to it. Just the way he phrases that, I feel like it's going to be kind of Ocean Master's decision is like, no, screw him, we're going to war, and Aquaman has to be like, no, I'm going to have to stop you because yes, they're terrible, but they can be better. Does anything I'm describing right now not sound entirely plausible?
That sounds entirely rote and completely plausible.
I don't have a problem with rote. I really don't. I've almost decided that that's not a thing I care about anymore because I just can't. I can't. It's like no one's told a new story in several thousand years. It's just like it.
Except for the Wachowskis.
Yeah, and they even didn't.
And no one knew what to make of it.
Which story are you referring to?
I don't know. Whatever damn thing they've created recently.
Oh God, yeah. No, that's becoming a trope by itself. All right, so
Sense8 was that seemed pretty out there.
That was a little out there.
I saw the first episode, didn't know what to make of it, and never watched it.
I did watch the entire first season, and I still don't know what to make of it. It's still on my to-do list, but I keep forgetting. Anyway, so yeah, it's just pretty much all of narrative has been done in some form before, and there are just times where you feel like you're oversaturated with a point, like mine over and over again is the point about stolen minds, stolen bodies, body switches, mind swatches. I don't care. I don't want to do any of this anymore. It's the kind of thing where like I got oversaturated with it, and now I'm just bored with it.
I never want to see. There's two of them. Which one do I shoot?
Oh, that's bad too.
The evil twin thing.
Yeah, that one I'm a little done with. But I feel like if you just dropped it and 10 years later gave me a slightly fresh take on it, I would think, well, fantastic. That's a good job. It's like a conceit of watching as much. Well, really just consuming as much as we do of anything on film. So I don't want to get on to something for being rote anymore, but sometimes I can't help it.
Yeah.
It's almost become a very subjective personal matter for me.
I'm not saying it's going to be a bad movie or anything. I'm just saying right now I am a little lacking in interest. And I would be lying if I said that the constant beratement of the movies isn't a factor. Like, I'm just tired of... I'm like, really, WB? I don't know. Why would you even make an Aquaman movie? You know that it's going to be crapped on. More than anything. Like, everybody craps on everything, and the one thing that they crap on and have crapped on for years and years and years is Aquaman.
Yeah.
And that's not to say they shouldn't try to do Aquaman and do a badass version of Aquaman, because I've always wanted to see that on the big screen. Because Aquaman's a badass character, for real.
He really is.
But I just, there's a part of me that's just like, I can't handle another heartbreak.
I know. There's a certain amount of fatigue that we're experiencing. Like, what does it call it? Like news fatigue, when there's like a story it's a big story, it's extremely meaningful, we should all care, but after about 3 or 4 weeks, it's been covered so hard that we all just kind of like, we know it's a story, but we just can't hear about it anymore. And we just want to move on. And yes, it's still a problem and it's still a story and it's still a thing, but we all just kind of want to move on to something else if at all possible. And honestly, like, you remember when I told you leaving the theater for Justice League? I was like, I'm kind of scared to say that I like this. Because that was really how I felt. Like, I liked the movie, and I was afraid that we were going to, go back to my house, talk about how we liked it, and sure enough, got just beaten for it in certain realms. I mean, whipped. Like, it was exhausting to actually have enjoyed a thing. That is so kind of meta-exhausting in a way that's just really unpleasant.
Yeah.
So
it sucks.
Yeah, and I understand. Like with Aquaman 2, it's also like you were already kind of taking a wild card here, buddy. This is a flyer, and all the stuff that came before it was supposed to be kind of easy, and it didn't work out. There's still so much splintering and so much flack, and now you want to bring in Aquaman, and I don't know. I'm just scared.
Well, yeah. I'm tired of the you're not a real fan debate. I'm tired of the I don't know. I'm just tired of a lot of this stuff.
It's gotten so divisive that it's just hard to wake up and like scroll through any kind of thing these days sometimes. But
and I'll get flack for saying that this sounds like Thor to me. It might not be anything like Thor. It might be like, whatever this great swashbuckling Star Wars adventure that they keep touting. I hope it's something awesome. I really do. Mm-hmm. I really want it to be great.
Sure.
Just fantastic. That quote didn't throw inspiration into me. It didn't.
That's the other thing is
I'm glad there's not going to be 3 villains, I guess.
Yes, that would have been...
I'd be okay with 2. He
used the word ridiculous, and I completely agree. That is way too far. Like, how do you tell the backstory? Like, how do you leave the superhero franchise in general, all of them, all facets included, have a problem with villains?
Uh-huh.
All of us. Like, if it's TV, I think there's some good exceptions in TV. In movies, there are less. It's always been a problem to make a good villain you can get behind and really kind of root /against.
No.
Like, that's kind of a weird thing. Like, you want to see him on screen, you're compelled by him, but you also want to see him defeated. It's a hard thing to do in general.
Yeah.
And especially when you add, capes and cows to it, it gets harder to make legitimate, I think. Yeah. Everyone has failed at this to some extent.
What would you say is your favorite movie villain? Not even just superhero, just favorite movie villain.
Oh, God. I don't know. I've never thought about it.
Isn't it hard?
It really is hard.
I mean, I feel like I have a penis, so I have to say Hans Gruber, but I don't think that's true.
Related note, I just found out yesterday that my wife has never seen Die Hard and told her we have to correct that.
It's a Christmas movie.
It's a Christmas movie. I think there's a petition to have it called a Christmas movie on Netflix.
There is. Damn it. Stupid petitions.
We've got to stop with the petitions. We've got to stop with the petitions. I know it's easy to go on change.org and just throw some stuff up there, misspelled or ungrammatical as it may be. I'm looking at you, Snyder Cut.
And you know what? I kind of feel like I'm a little disappointed in our language, or not even our language, but I feel like the verb for petition should be petite.
If that didn't already make it sound like a futile task. I might be willing to go with you. Were it not for the existing adjective. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know who the best villain I've ever seen is. I mean, even out of the movies, that's even hard to pin down. Because some of them are really terrifically bad.
Yeah.
Like there've actually been some great ones on television.
Yeah.
But even then, it's almost best when they do it as a story arc. Like, even a good baddie for an entire season is kind of hard to come across.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty...
Like, there's a lot of Season 5 Buffys out there. I forget her name. Or his and her names.
Oh, Glory?
Glory, yeah.
I'm pretty partial to Mr. Glass from Unbreakable.
It's not a bad choice.
I'm pretty partial to Magneto. Magneto was a pretty great... you really feel for Magneto in those X-Men movies. Ian McKellen.
You actually do.
And even
that has part to do with Ian McKellen just being amazing.
Yeah, but like in that first X-Men movie, like Magneto's plan is just balls out stupid. Like it's just ridiculous. Like
it is. I'll tell you though, like the moment that really wins me over with Magneto is he's talking to, I think, was his name Pyro, kind of the kid, young guy.
Yeah.
Walks around with a Bic the entire time, or the Zippo the entire time.
Yeah.
Is it a Zippo? It's been a while since I was a smoker. I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I'm like really thankful. I feel like I should turn this conversation to my doctor that I don't even remember the name of that kind of lighter. But he's walking around with that kind of lighter, and he says something derogatory about Xavier, and like Magneto just turns to him and like it scolds him like, that man has done more for mutant kind than you will ever understand. Do not let me hear you speak about him again, like that kind of.
Yeah.
It does so much because there's like a wonderful relationship between the two, and he's a good villain. Like that actually is a good point. He's a villain where like you see his side, and we don't get that a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I really do. Like there's like I have an intrinsic problem with the X-Men anyway, because I was just talking to Effie Oppelgers about this. And we disagreed, but couldn't come up with a solution. Perfect. But I was like, if there were people with mutant powers, I would totally want them registered. Because that's dangerous as crap. Just like, oh my lord, that's frightening.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I thought it was like there's like an actually built-in problem. You know, back when the X-Men started, they were gearing it more towards the civil rights.
Sure, yeah.
I'm like, maybe you don't make a story about the civil rights where people are saying, hey, black people are dangerous and violent. Maybe you don't make an allegorical story with a bunch of mutants who are dangerous and violent.
The story kind of, I think it changed what it was trying to tell over the years.
And then, like, the LGBTQ community, obviously, became the next stand-in for the mutants, or the mutants became stand-ins for them, I guess. Sure. I mean, but, again, dangerous and violent. What are we doing here, people? Like, what? That's a weird thing anyway. But my point is, you know, if there were mutants, and they had all these horrible superpowers, I might be on the side of Stark or whatever. Just like, yeah, maybe we should have like a list of these
track
people.
Of you and we'll enlist all of your help in separate states on a team-based kind of effort and all that.
And you know, Effie was like, well, you know, if we do that, what stops the government from doing this? Well, yeah, that's a fine point. We don't know what the solution is.
No,
we don't know what the solution is.
I don't have anything to offer you. No, there's nothing.
No. There's a reason that's actually it actually stands up as a pretty good story.
Yeah, and like, nor is there a particularly elegant explanation for why, a lot of X-Men in particular did start as, civil rights allegory, and it was useful when it was doing that. But then it changed and it kind of morphed over time. And like, if you look at any given period, I think it makes some sense. Probably a lot. Actually, it makes a lot of sense if you look at the period and what was happening societally at the time. But if you look at the whole narrative, you're like, why did we make everyone violent and then say we should trust them anyway?
Yeah. It's like, let this man go into the bathroom. He has 6-inch claws.
Yeah.
No, but, it's a little weird.
There's plenty of possibilities for philosophical nitpicking, I'll call it.
You know, Effie had a great question. What the hell are they going to do when we get far enough along in the timeline in real life where we can no longer use World War II for Magneto? Like, Magneto's going to be like 140 if he was in World War II, so we can't do that anymore.
Right? Yeah. I know, and it's a great image, him trying to close the gate at the entrance as a young boy, but I don't know. I don't know what other event could possibly have spawned something like him. Yeah, well, I guess they could make it like honestly, that's not true. Let's go back. I say that. That's just the best known example in some circles. There are genocidal examples happening right now. Like you just pick your poison, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, if they change him to a different race or something, they could probably do it pretty well.
I think it depends on where you are, whether you'd have to actually kind of like change that casting call. But
I just I forget that they do that. Sometimes they don't cast the same race.
Yeah.
So they could actually just turn it into something from, gosh, I don't know. I really don't know.
I really wish I could give you a list of that, but I just don't have it. I'm aware.
I know comic books,
not aware enough
historical genocide.
No, or even present. I'm sorry, I'm behind.
Yeah,
this reduces my SJW cred, but that's fine. I'll live.
Yeah, I have no cred anyway. Anyway,
I don't even know where we started. What did we start with? What was happening in our actual world?
We're talking about X-Men and bad villains.
We were just talking about bad villains before, right?
We were talking about, yeah.
At what point were we talking about DC before? I've forgotten.
Aquaman and its 3 villain rumors.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, to summarize, for me, 3 villains, bad, James Wan, good. Okay.
Right.
Good call, buddy.
I'm down, but I'm dubious. That's where I was.
There you go.
All right, so Grace Fulton, we've known about this for a while as far as, we've known about the rumors, but she officially announced that she is going to be in Shazam. She hasn't said who she's going to be. In her announcement, she did say holy moly, so that made me happy. Ian Chin from Fresh Off the Boat and Jovan Armand from Bella and the Bulldogs are going to be in the movie, according to Deadline. Chin will be playing Eugene, and Armand will be playing Pedro. Those are both friends of Billy Batson in the comics.
Mm-hmm. The only one I've ever actually seen is the Fresh Off the Boat kid, and he's good.
I mean, I saw pictures and they look the part. I'm pretty excited about that. Someone asked what the difference between the New 52 Shazam or Billy Batson and Sandberg's Billy Batson was, and Sandberg said he's not a huge dickhead.
God, I love him. Like, if he ends up off this film at some point, I hope he just continues to tweet about it extensively.
Yeah. So, someone on Twitter asked Chris McKay when we could expect casting info, and Chris McKay said, I would expect to be able to tell you more concrete info on our movie's progress around February. I'm excited about that. I'm happy that Nightwing's going forward. I don't know what the hell they would do. Maybe Blockbuster or something, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just want to see it.
Yeah, who cares? Unless in February he basically comes out and says, there's no progress, we've shut it down. Thank you for playing.
Right. Possibility.
I feel like we can't report anything about the DCU without a percentage error at this point.
Yeah.
This is 100% true, give or take 20%.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man. So, Matthew Salvatore has told us on Twitter that apparently there's a petition for the Star Wars Episode 8 to be removed from canon.
Oh, God. No. No Moss.
Moving on.
No Moss.
We have some feedback from Effie Oppelders, of Stealing the Remote, by the way, who reviewed us on our Facebook page, gave us 5 stars. It says, utterly entertaining discussion of all the news in DC films, TV, and on occasion comics between two very fun and friendly guys. They're very approachable online as well, and I'm happy to consider them friends of this long-time listener. Probably a year and change ago at least, I wrote a review on iTunes and titled it Terrific Off-Topic Tangents. I've decided to update it for Facebook. Effie's not 60. She continues, I not only get to look forward to all of the DC Comics properties on TV every week. By the way, this is actually just her iTunes review with little asides thrown in.
Parentheses.
Yeah.
It's like a commentary of her own review. I kind of loved that.
Yeah. I not only get to look forward to all the DC Comics properties on TV every week, in parentheses, which I am no longer as up to date on.
Yes.
But also to the DC on Screen reviews for every single episode of every single show, in parentheses, which they no longer do.
Damn straight.
Sorting mail has become a lot less mind-numbing of a job, which I no longer have.
Good for you.
Since I've had Dave and Jason to talk me through whose acting was awful and which lines were great. Though these opinions are in large part what makes up the sheer volume of podcasts they put out. Yeah, that went down a bit because they have lives now. Mm-hmm. They first and foremost cover all the news surrounding the DC Extended Universe and do so in an entertaining way. This hasn't changed, though.
Thank goodness.
Both types of episodes are littered with references that sometimes, usually, require me to go back and watch a show or a movie the geek in me still hasn't found the time for yet, and probably still hasn't.
Ha-ha!
And delightfully off-track discussions. I don't always know what to expect, but I can't expect to have a damn good time. Keep up the great work, guys. And they did, because I told them to, of course. Thank you, Effie.
As always.
It was appreciated.
But listen, I feel like we've just provided a great example of an off-topic discussion. I forgot even how we started that.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, we got back, but just...
Yeah.
There's a point where I was like, what show are we doing? Hold on. Are we recording?
Yep. So Yoda Hugh over on Twitter says, the differences between me and Jason. When Jason was 10, he wanted to work for Microsoft, whereas I wanted to be a tortoise or a mushroom.
All right, that made me laugh, but I have no idea what to do with it.
I don't either, but it made me laugh really hard.
It really did. I just have this
when
image
I was 10, I wanted to be Batman.
That's also fair. I just have this image of like someone who wants to just live a very slow and easy life. Just things aren't that serious. I'm just sitting here gathering in a tiny bit of sun before I hibernate. That's it. Like some lettuce. I'm going to have a chill. I envy the idea, frankly.
You envy it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you came out of that envying it, but I came out of it worrying about Yoda Hue.
No, some part of me wishes that at 10 I'd had the foresight to think, you know what? I kind of wish life would slow down a little bit.
Oh, I always knew that was going to be a thing for me.
I never did.
Like,
I never did.
I always knew that, like, at some point I was going to turn around and go, like, where did my life go? This sucks.
No. I'd like heard all those cautionary tales, but I still had like the juvenile ignorance of like, I want to grow up and do things and be my own person and blah, blah, blah. And then I actually like turned around and had been doing that for a second. I was like, this is ridiculous. I want to play.
Uh-huh.
So I kind of envy the foresight.
But you know what the thing is,
Good work,
though?
Yoda.
Here's the thing. I would still choose working over school.
I would, but I understand, you know.
I hated school
I
so
understand
much.
I actually really liked school.
I hated it so much. All right. Nerdy-tastic says, ask Jason if I can join in on that super suit mood ring hate mail.
Yep, bring it on. Send it
Wow.
straight to dconscreen@gmail.com. Addressed care of Dave.
Right. She says, I literally made the pff sound out loud when you made that joke. Yeah, I made a crack about how the Superman suit in the Justice League movie should have been like a mood ring. Mm-hmm. I did.
Yeah.
Changing color at will.
I know. You know, maybe you can add that to the petition.
Yeah.
Or make your own.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, if you're not going to follow us to the DC TV side of things, you can find us on Twitter. We tweet at DC on Screen. You can find us on Facebook, where you can leave us a 5-star written review, or you could do that on iTunes. It does actually help us in the rankings. And you can leave us a voicemail, 205-259-6331. And moving over to the television news, Titans released the first photo of Hawk and Dove, and dude, it looks great.
Yeah.
Like, the Hawk and Dove and the Robin together, like, that looks better than pretty much any iteration I've seen on the Arrowverse so far, save for Supergirl herself.
The actual, like, costume to look?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I'd agree. I haven't thought about it, but yeah.
Yeah, that Hawk and Dove looks like it came straight out of, like, a Zack Snyder film.
Yeah. And it's kind of the most true to a drawing form, I think, overall that we've seen.
Yeah.
Short of its honesty, that thing looks awesome. I'm super into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They did release some new casting calls. One for a young John Crossland, male Caucasian, to play 10 to 13, athletic, lean, approximately 5 feet tall, and not afraid of heights. Please list height on submission. Recurring guest star. Any thoughts?
A Robin?
A Robin?
Mm-hmm.
So do you, like, I've heard this before. I've heard some people kind of speculate on this. Do you think the Robin, like Dick Grayson as Robin, will be flashbacks?
Honestly, I really don't want to think anything so far, but no.
Okay.
Here's the thing. It really could be. I hope not.
Uh-huh.
But
Well,
it's a recurring
you're saying this is the guy's
thing, so
yeah. Well, you're saying this guy might be a Robin.
Sounds like a Robin.
There's already a Robin in the show.
yeah, but there are several, and they come in a lineage, so it could be a flashback and it could be a present.
Sure. Yeah, it's recurring, so it could be like him as a kid Robin.
As a recurring flashback role, or it could be a recurring,
Yeah.
spot over to somebody else, yeah.
All right. Fair enough. Then they also have Dave Story, male, mid-30s to 40s, Caucasian, the downfalls of others only make this man stronger, polished, unwavering, think a young Jack Nicholson, recurring guest star. A lot of people think this is Batman.
I want to agree.
I'd be down. I want to see Batman.
And again, could just be a recurring spot about an origin story. Could just be that he moves on. He's, Robin in the Teen Titans, and it's a guy that's like, a year away from declaring himself Nightwing and still being ahead of Teen Titans. I don't know. Any one of these is
30s
possible.
to 40s?
No,
That's a little too old for a Nightwing.
Sorry. I mean the Robin we actually have cast at the moment.
Okay.
It could be any version of these stories at the moment. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it does sound like a Robin and a Batman that they just put out a casting call for.
It does. It does sound like that. Though, 30s to 40s Caucasian, downfalls of others only make this man stronger, polished, unwavering. I could see Joker fitting into that too.
Could. It could. They both are unwavering. It's kind of why I like them as a duo.
Yeah. I'm excited about Titans. I want to see it. I want to see this thing.
I didn't think I would ever get to the point where I am, but now I've seen a couple of set photos and I've seen some casting calls. And damn it, I actually am pretty excited.
Yeah. Oh, man, over to The Flash. Wentworth Miller is open to return. Wentworth Miller says he has one more episode left in his contract, but he's open to more. Miller said, I love the character, and I have a lot of affection for the cast. There are many reasons to come back. It just has to be the right story.
Oh, damn you.
Over on Arrow.
Fair enough.
Guggenheim and Miracle.
By the way, quick note on Teen Titans.
Okay.
I was in Atlanta this weekend.
Yeah.
I know they're filming, and some part of me kept hoping I would just drive by and find them. And I was just going to jump out of the car and be like, put me in!
As what?
I don't care. I'll hand someone a piece of toast in the background. I don't give a damn.
The episode was pretty solid, except for that one lone guy in the background just handing Robin a piece of toast.
And, like, smirking at the camera the entire time. I would totally Jimmy Fallon that thing.
We're going to see that pilot and you're going to be, like, photobombing the entire thing, aren't you?
No, but not for lack of trying.
All right, over to Arrow. Guggenheim and Miracle, in a statement, says, we are thrilled to announce that Colton Haynes will be reprising his role as Roy Harper for a short arc on Arrow this year. Roy is called back to Star City to help resolve an urgent matter with stakes for the team. His short visit turns into something surprising when he reunites with Thea and sparks a change in both of their lives that will have long-lasting consequences. Sounds like Thea's gonna leave the show.
It really does. It's two actors who have both kind of stepped away for personal reasons.
Mm-hmm.
It would kind of make sense if one of them came back and grabbed the other and was like, all right, cool, we're off.
And who doesn't want Roy and Speedy together for the rest of the time?
They were a good couple.
Just go, leave.
I would actually be happy with them. Sure, we're going to get Oliver FaceTiming with Thea every now and then, but I don't think that's, particularly a taxing role to, like, pop in and be the other side of a laptop for a second.
I doubt we'll even get, like, a FaceTime situation. I think they'll burn off her appearances, when it comes back, and then once his arc starts in episode 16, so I think they'll just, like, burn off her appearances, and then it'll just be like oh, we talked to Thea. Yeah, she got a tattoo. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, as a warning, it was said that the story arc started in episode 16. Historically, that means you can expect him to show up for 10 seconds at the end of episode 16.
Right.
Don't expect him before you see the actual Arrow, like, title card.
Accurate.
If it happens, great. I'm just saying. Don't sit around waiting for Roy Harper the entire episode. Just enjoy the episode and he'll show up eventually.
Yeah. All right, well, back to petitions.
Yay!
Some fans have started a petition in protest of the new and admittedly very strange programming announcement, wherein Supergirl will go on a long hiatus while Legends runs the entirety of their remaining season. Just please stop. Just
please.
Just no more petitions.
Please.
I don't want any more petitions.
Please stop.
Please.
We're begging. This is...
And,
It's ridiculous. It's groping and ridiculous. You're not going to change the programming schedule. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, and you know what? We had one more piece of news. Gotham by Gaslight put out a first clip, and it's like Ivy in an alley, thinking she's being chased. She runs into a man. It's Jack the Ripper. She tries to seduce him. He pulls out a knife, and she's like, no! But you know what? It was fine. It's okay. I don't know what to do with that clip. I'm not going to talk about that clip. I just did. It's there. I don't know. Let me see the damn thing already.
I think they just thought it would be interesting to release the fact that it was Ivy.
Uh-huh.
I think that's why they chose that part. Because it's going to be Ivy, and there's a knife, and it's going to be kind of graphic, and we're going to see where it goes. And they might be kind of recasting some of the roles from Gotham by Gaslight as, like, iconic, Gotham personnel.
Yeah.
Which sounds fun. I really nothing against that. I mean, I'm not going to...
Yeah, sure.
I mean, hell, who do I compare it to? Like, if you say anyone is Jack the Ripper, what am I going to be like? No, Jack the Ripper was X. I don't know. It's an unsolved case. What do you want me to do? Complain?
Yeah.
It was definitely not Joker. His name definitely wasn't Jack Napier. I don't know. What do you want?
Yep. Back to the credits. I mean, the credits.
Back to the petitions. This has got to stop.
Brent Clark over on Twitter says, all of these fan petitions, Snyder Cut, Supergirl, Legends, Time Slot, Star Wars to not be canon, Black Suit, are they pointless, dumb, or both?
Both.
I don't think the Snyder Cut one was pointless. I think it is good that I think it's good that WB knows that we are sick of them meddling with stuff. Like, if they're going to be a director-driven studio, they need to be a director-driven studio and stop. Just be one or the other. Stop trying to pretend to be something you're not, basically. That's how I feel. Like, I don't mind that Marvel is a controlling piece of shit company. They make, passably good movies. I enjoy them. They have a vision. Even if the director doesn't get what they want, guess what? The director still gets what they want because they direct a successful Marvel movie, and now they can pretty much write their own damn ticket for the rest of their freaking lives.
If they stick around. If they don't want to stick around for that vision, they can go away, and there's not really a lot of animosity in those decisions, apparently.
Yeah. See, Edgar Wright.
Right.
But
it was like, well, we didn't agree. Wish I'd been able to do it my way. Godspeed. That's it. But if you ask me if it's pointless or dumb, my feeling is those both. I can take both of those words and put them into one. Is it efficable? No. You're not actually. There's no potential you're going to actually change anything. So I do think it's a waste of time.
I've seen a fair amount of feedback, not to our show specifically, but a lot of people online talking about, like, fans saying they think that once it gets a certain amount of signatures, it they have to do something.
I really don't think there is a critical mass, and if it is, it's so hard. It's so hard to achieve. You're not going to get there. Like, that's the point they're talking about, is critical mass. You're not going to get there.
Well, it seems like they think it's going to have to become law or something.
No.
Like WB is legally bound to do something, and that's just...
No, I mean, if anything, they will be, like, financially bound to do something. But, as we talked about, that's it. Like, if you're a business, law, short of whether you're actually breaking them, is just whether it's financially sound. That's it. That's the entirety of your decision-making process. Does this make sense for our books? Yeah. And this especially makes sense in bigger companies where you have a stock code, man. I mean, like, these people have way more to account for than just an artistic vision or whether they screwed over Zack Snyder. No one cares. Mm-hmm. No one that actually invests money in this company cares. So, does it make sense financially? No. They're not, like, it would cost millions of dollars to finalize a Snyder Cut. Millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm. See, it would, yeah.
I want to say 50 to 75 as a ballpark. Because not only would you have to hire everyone involved, especially Zach, who at this point would probably pin you to a wall. Like, not only would you have to hire everyone back in an absurd salary because you kind of like told them we don't need you and now you got to come back and say we do after all, and it has to be specifically you. Even if you just grabbed Snyder, I don't know how much you can negotiate that for, but it's going to be millions. And
I don't know. I don't know about Snyder, man. I really don't. Like, he seems like a decent enough dude.
It's not about his decency.
Agree to do it.
It's about
he might actually agree to do it for free just to finish it for the fans.
No,
that dude seems like a decent dude.
It's not a matter of decency.
He should.
It's, again, where's the money coming from? Like, he can't lower his pay rate enough to go do this for pro bono. Because imagine, like, if you're his agent or you're his manager, tell him, like, and he tells you, like, hey, man, so Warner Brothers offered for me to do a ton of work for free to prove that my vision was great. Okay, well, great. So at that point, that means that, like, every time I send Zack Snyder on a job as his manager, what I can expect is that they'll take his best effort, and then they might fire him, and that he'll come back for free if it doesn't work out.
Well,
no one takes that
deal. I'm pretty sure he already got paid to do it anyway. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, his salary is probably enough.
Well, his salary for what he did for principal photography, sure. But his salary to come back and do an entirely different cut that isn't there yet because he didn't get to do post-production.
I mean, he would have had to do those reshoots anyway.
He would have, but he didn't. So now to ask him to do the extra work, you owe him money because you took that off his deal. No, it's not in his contract. If it was in his contract, then they could just be like, Zach, you owe us. Come in here and do this. You're going to have to pay him.
I'm sure they didn't, like, cut his pay because he didn't do the reshoots.
Oh, no, he got paid fully. Like, I don't think there was... Point. No, but that's my point too. Is like he got paid fully for the amount of work he's already done. So to ask him to come back for free and do his cut, never going to happen.
But it wouldn't be coming back for free. It'd be coming back to finish.
Coming back to do work for free. He would have to put in hours, and there would be no compensation. Like, it would take I mean, even post-production itself normally takes the better part of a year. So we're talking about a year off his schedule where he could be making some $20-30 million.
Well, I mean,
he's not going to sacrifice
that's
that.
We don't know how much was left. We don't know how many reshoots he was going to do. But if reshoots were included in his original salary, I don't see how they would have to pay him. I mean, this is all stupid anyway. He's not going to happen. It's just
that's not going to happen. But I'm still saying, like, if you ask him to come in and finish his version of a film, you're right. There's a gray area where, like, if you'd already committed to it, I guess maybe it's contractually there, but I doubt it. Just on spec, I doubt it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm betting the film, he had principal photography. They probably agreed on a payout. I'm just betting. They probably agreed on a payout so that he was covered, and they were all of the ends were capped, man. Like, this was probably not a loose end situation. So, like, you'd have to pay a huge chunk of money to get back in the studio, and it's never going to happen. And then you'd have to pay Junkie XL.
Yeah.
And then you'd have to pay every other actor to come back and do some reshoots.
Paid.
It's just...
Yeah, I mean, having moved on to other projects, I think it'd probably be hard. Unless the Junkie XL stuff was already finished, and they still own the rights to whatever he did.
Yeah, if he did it under contract, that's theirs. It's fine. But
yeah,
I doubt very seriously that there's any kind of, like, contractual leeway where all of these people signed up for something that they can now call reshoots, I'm putting in quotations, and can bring back in for no money.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's going to happen.
I think it costs millions of dollars just to get them back in the studio, and then you have to actually do the thing.
The best we could hope for, I think, is Zack Snyder coming in and overseeing an edit of the footage he already shot.
Even then,
and
it's such a high-budget
Junkie
film
XL,
in post-production that it's going to cost a ton.
It's not going to happen.
All right, so we've already covered how this is impossible.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's impossible. No, wait for it to happen.
I know.
That's what's going to happen, because we've said...
I know.
But like I've said, it's never going to be the Zack Snyder vision they wanted.
I did say 5 minutes ago
not.
that, like, DCU, we can only say something's 100% certain, give or take 20%. So, like, I understand entirely that anything's possible, but the likelihood of this, I think, is absurdly low. And then let's look at, like, Supergirl. Not going to happen. Just not going to happen. Like, you've already announced it. It's only happening in, what, a month?
Something like that, yeah.
God, a little less. You've only got a few weeks. People already bought ads. You'd have to go back, redo all of your ad buys, put them back in, figure out a place where Legends is going to actually air, which is going to displace another show, which you wouldn't have done if you had a better idea. This was already the best idea they had at their disposal. They didn't just, like, half-ass this and throw it out there and say, like the programming director spent nights up worrying about this before he or she, I don't know, ever pulled that up and said, this is our plan. It's a weird plan, and I don't know what it means for Legends or Supergirl, but it's not one you just, like, retract because there are a couple thousand signatures on a petition. It's absurd.
Yeah.
Also, Golden Globes. They don't care what you think. Period.
Right.
They do not care. This is, like,
Yeah.
especially when you get to, like, Golden Globes and Academy and all that stuff. Like, this is, when people talk about the typical Hollywood elite, this is the small group they're talking about. They don't care about you, man. They don't care about what you think, what anyone thinks. This is the little group of people that make award shows happen. That's it. I mean, I hate to say it, but your voice does not matter one damn.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Also, you'd have to be... I mean, granted, Patty Jenkins set like, she redid history with Wonder Woman, but she's not going to redo history with superhero films. They still don't get any credit. There's never been any credit. Heath Ledger got an award, and he had to die for it. Like, that was a posthumous award.
Pretty much.
And it was somewhat, like... It was because he was already a really good actor that we all respected, and whatever. They already respected and thought, like, he had a really good career, and this was a great performance, and this was a great opportunity to give him the award. That's it.
He wouldn't have. I don't believe he would have won that award if he
had he been sitting in the audience waiting for it.
Because it's a comic book movie.
Because there's some
Probably
bias against
nominated.
like there is a bias against these kinds of movies. It is the Hollywood elite, elite that we're elite. It's the Hollywood elite that we're all, like, fearful of in certain ways. It's never gonna happen.
No.
Never.
You can win an Oscar for sound design. You can win an Oscar for soundtrack, makeup, any of that crazy stuff, because that's what the sci-fi fantasy genre is for. But actual story, acting, any of that,
no. None of the big ones. It's never gonna happen. I mean,
we're closer than ever to that.
I don't want to say never. I really don't, because I want to be hopeful, but it has never. It's never really been a thing, and and I feel bad because she made a great movie, and I don't necessarily do. I don't disagree with the sentiment. She made a great movie. Like, I kind of wish she could have it. Mm-hmm. But I also, and here's the funny part to me, I don't want to go watch the pretentious ass films they put instead of her to judge it by that.
I don't even know was.
I don't. I'm just
chosen.
assuming it's some pretentious ass set of films that I don't care about.
I don't keep track of any award show really. Okay, so Brent Clark is the one that says that asked us about all the petitions. Now Brent he does a show currently. He does 2 shows. DC TV Squadcast, which is on hiatus right now because the shows are on hiatus. They talk about all the Arrowverse shows. So, we have a few people who tell us, hey, we missed the recaps and reviews. Totally go listen to DC TV Squadcast. Yeah. Brent and Ray do a great job over there.
I'm personally sorry about that.
They also do a show
every day, but we just couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah. But he also does a show called Fans Without Borders, and I meant to mention it over in the TV in the news on the DCEU news side of things. But after the credits last week on their show, he and Ray got into a little bit of a discussion, and Ray brought up the fact the flight cast brought up that I was right about something, 1,000% right about something. About how you can't make an art house tentpole film. How you can't make an art house tentpole film, and they discussed that for a little while, with Logan being the exception, which I agree. Like, Logan was kind of a fluke, but it was
I kind of like tentpole as like the word used to describe a movie that was supposed to be a tentpole and didn't make that happen.
Tenthole.
Yeah.
So Justice League, you really going there, Jason?
I didn't do it, but you did. But I want to agree begrudgingly now.
I feel like it was in your head.
Honestly, I think
we all knew what you were saying.
BVS was the real one that was supposed to be the tentpole that became a tentpole.
No. BVS made way more money.
Make its money. Yeah, it's
way more money.
Yeah, it's probably Justice League. Oh, God.
Even without China. No, that was Suicide Squad. Never mind.
Yeah, Suicide Squad was.
All right. But yeah, I wanted to thank you guys. Fans Without Borders is a fantastic show, and so is DC TV Squadcast. I listen to both of those shows, and they're good hosts. They're pretty great. I enjoy the hell out of every episode I get to listen to. Sometimes I can't listen to fans because I haven't seen a thing yet. The Punisher review is the most recent review. What word am I looking for? Example of that. God. It's time to end the show, y'all.
We've been groping for words for a minute. Yeah, it's probably call it time.
But yeah, so thank you for the comment here, and thank you for the shout out last week, Brent and Ray. Also, I think I might start a petition to get Brent Clark of Fans Without Borders to watch Firefly, because he has not done that.
That's unforgivable.
I kind of want our fans and the fans of Squadcast.
I'd be happy to implore anyone.
I'm messaging Scott of Squadcast when we get off of here.
I implore anyone to harass him as much as you can. Work into your daily routine.
I'm gonna go over to change.org. By the way, Brent's reasoning for not watching Firefly is that it's long enough that he will get infested, but it's so short it'll piss him off when there's not more. And that's fair, but it's still amazing, and he's got to see it. He's got to see it. So yeah,
those are both real things, but like, come on, you get that so much in life. Just enjoy this one thing that's actually really good for what it's there for. Just enjoy it.
Yeah. After listening to our Legends of Tomorrow review, Matthew Salvatore over on Twitter says, "This is exactly why I no longer watch Legends of Tomorrow, but I'm having a blast listening to your episode." Thank you.
Glad you enjoyed it. I did a lot of yelling as far as I can remember.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Travis Hines says, "Just finished this podcast, boys. Another great job, especially like Jason's point about Wynn and James being friends on Earth X. Just one line from Wynn about his best friend just being killed by the Dark Arrow would have been awesome."
Thank you. Would have made my day.
And to finish this out, Scott of Squadcast says, We had a question about this. He says, haven't listened to your mid-season Lucifer episode yet, but you can answer the question of bottle episodes by credits. The created by credit is in the end credits for the bottle episodes from last season, but it's in the opening credits of currently produced episodes. Did you guys ever suss that out? I know you guys talked about that a little off.
No, I'm still dubious about that. Sorry.
You're still dubious?
Yeah, it's just like you can change when a credit happens. I'm not quite sure why that is definitive.
Okay. Well, it's Fox.
It's a neat insight.
They might not just want to. They just might not want to pay the editors to go back and change it.
That's a real thing. My favorite example of Fox is when Futurama was like finishing its final air, where they said like, well, we didn't so much release the episodes as they escaped.
Yeah, that is a thing.
I've distrusted them for 15 some years.
Oh, my distrust of them goes back far longer. I'm talking about early 90s, The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr., Herman's Head, Time Tracks.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Ned and Stacy.
Ned and Stacy was good.
Yeah, it was. That was Deborah Messing and, what's his face?
Lloyd from Wings? I don't know.
Yeah. Thomas Hayden Church.
Thank you. God, I was gonna have to Google that the moment we got off air. Good work.
Yeah, I've had a long, stalwart distrust of Fox. The Lone Gunman, fantastic show. Yeah. I have it on DVD. Of course I do. Millennium.
It's one of my great hopes for this new merger is that somehow I can trust them again.
I don't know. Well, I haven't looked into it deeply or anything, but the government's like pushing. Well, I think it was the Senate, I heard, maybe? I don't know.
There are parts of the Senate that are pushing to investigate
have
it.
a hearing.
Means nothing.
Yeah. All right.
Well, I mean, it's nothing effectually. Some people are going to talk about it. We'll see. For all we know now, it's going to go through, and it's going to cost Disney like a couple $1 billion if it doesn't go through.
Right.
Which isn't unprecedented. There have been a few mergers like this that didn't go through, and it cost a shit ton of money for it not to be finalized, but... So far, so good.
Anywho.
Also, you know how nice it is that we haven't had to investigate every single aspect of this merger because we're DC.
I've kept my eye pretty close on it.
I've been watching, but I haven't had to be I've got to know everything about this.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed that luxury. I've enjoyed that.
Yeah, it's kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well... I think that's it for the episode. If you want to leave us a voicemail, you can call us 205-259-6331. And, dude, we tweet at DC on Screen. Go click that little notification button, because I'm going to be putting up I think I'm going to try to put up a petition to get Brent Clark to watch Firefly.
Fantastic.
And I want you to sign it.
Me?
No, just the audience. Or
Everyone?
you too.
Yeah.
You should do it too. All right. Good. Love. Mighty Boosh fans.
Lost me there.
I know. We're also over on Facebook. You can go give us a 5-star written review if you like, if you think we deserve it, over on iTunes or our Facebook page. And we'll read it on the show, and we'll love you forever.
Yes.
I'd like to be under the sea in an octopus's garden in the shade.
Mm-hmm. That's what we all...
And I don't know when we're coming back. I really don't. News has been so light, and holidays are coming up, so we might not have anything next week. Actually, you know what? Next Monday is Christmas, so I know we're not going to be recording that day.
Next Monday is a definite no-go. And then...
Yeah, so...
No, we have a calendar. Let me see.
So,
all right, so...
Actually,
no.
I think the earliest... we might get in a recording somewhere in between, but it won't be news. And it looks like Wednesday the 3rd might be the first time we get something in. Does that sound right to you?
Yep, that does. There is a Lucifer premiere January 1st. So
I can't do it.
No, we're not.
We might do it on the 3rd.
That's when it actually premieres.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to have that. We're not going to be able to turn that around by Wednesday the 3rd.
Yeah.
That'll be that week at best.
Yeah, we might do a review of Raid the Freedom Fighters or whatever on the 3rd, but we're going to be off for a minute.
Yeah, it's going to be a couple weeks. We might be able to sneak in an episode, but it's no guarantee.
Yeah. We almost didn't do this episode, but we didn't want to leave you guys hanging for so long without without a show. Plus, we love doing the show. So
Yeah, and there was some fun stuff.
absolutely. So that's kind of a long time for you guys to give us some feedback. So Godspeed, do it. Bring your A game.
Yeah.
And we love you. And until next time, keep some DC on your screen.
Bye.
Our opening narration was from Dan Jurgens' The History of the DC Universe, Part 3 of 10, as featured in DC 52 Week 4. It was performed by me, David Z. Robertson. Intro music by Jason Goss and Michael Shackelford. Michael's band Future Elevators can be found on Spotify or future-elevators.com. Our introduction was performed by Eli Ophelders of Stealing the Remote, which lives on SoundCloud and can be found on iTunes and Stitcher. We're a proud member of the Giant Size Team Up Network, GiantSizeTeamUp.com. DC On Screen is a maladjusted production. Visit maladjusted.tv for more from me and Jason, including sketch comedy and improvised web series, vlogs, parodies, and more.
Are you maladjusted?
Alright, so just a quick update. Directly after recording the episode, I created a petition on change.org called Make Brent Clark Watch Firefly. As of this recording, roughly an hour afterward, it has 8 supporters, which is hilarious to me. So totally go sign the petition. Also, a few weeks ago, I made a statement on the show saying I was tired of hearing about Mirakuru. Since that time, Brent Clark, the same Brent Clark who has not watched Firefly, by the way, has sent us a voicemail where he just said Mirakuru, which we didn't play because, you know, it was weird and unsettling. And he's also subsequently tweeted the word to us a bunch of times. So, you know what? Here now is that voicemail and a little something extra.
Mirakuru. 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 Mirakuru.
Attention car shoppers. Right now at South Carolina Federal Credit Union, you can get a new or used auto loan and pay nothing until 2024, and no payments for 90 days means nothing out of pocket going into the new year. Plus, we have flexible rates and terms, so you could make the best financial choice for you. Learn more at scfederal.org/autoloans. That's scfederal.org/autoloans. Certain restrictions apply. Existing South Carolina federal credit loans are excluded.